What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show on somewhere. Tonight we're on DLive and on YouTube, so make sure to stay with us. Tonight, there is a lot going on. We're going to talk about Iran, and they run. We'll be right back. All right. What is up, guys? Tonight, we do not have great news for everyone, but that's kind of how it works here. So, we're going to be talking about all of the things that have happened today. We're going to break down exactly what happened. We're going to break down, why you should be worried and why you shouldn't be worried. There's a lot of people freaking out right now. Obviously, unfortunately, I've been talking about this for a year and a half, all the way back to when Britain was talking about, when Theresa May was talking about how they switched their money over. I said, follow the money. I said, you will end up finding what they are actually headed towards next. For those of you who have stuck with me for a long time, even when I was very, very small, we had a good 2,000 loyal people watching. And even then, I was showing you guys that they were directing towards Russia and Iran. So this is kind of a big deal. They struck back, and now we are going to be covering that. So if you've never been here before, my name is Adam, aka Marf, and of course this is a call-in show. The number is down below at 224-400-MARF, and you will be able to call in yourself and give your opinion. If you have any videos, pictures, anything like that, you can actually give them to the screener, co-host, and producer, Dex James. Before we get any further, Dex, I just want to do a quick sound check and make sure you're there.
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So lots of craziness going on. Of course, it is. This is big news. Like, this is probably one of the biggest cycles we will see in a long time. We've got the president's tweets. We've got everything else. Wouldn't you say that we probably have one of the craziest shows we've had in a long time?
Yeah, we're certainly sitting on the edge of a lot of breaking news. Some of it's already happened. We're going to be talking about it, and we're actually going to be monitoring it. I'll be monitoring it while Adam's talking to everybody live, and we'll be taking calls. But I've got the back line. I've got other people that are helping us get and source information. So we'll be bringing things to you live as it happens, if it happens during the show.
And not only that, we're going to be covering some of the earthquakes that happened. Of course, that was something that last night a lot of people were concerned about. Puerto Rico, of course, having 6.8 that got downgraded to a 6.5. We have a ton of things going on all at once. So that is absolutely nuts. And then if you have never seen before, you may not know, our website actually has all of these articles. Everything we're about to read, you can actually follow along on a second device. You can go to marfooglenews.com, and you will actually see this setup right here. And you will look for this thumbnail, and once you see that, click on it, and it will actually bring you to all of the articles and all of the callers. So just so you can see down here, you of course have the show topics, all of the articles that we have loaded up, all of the tweets, all of the videos, and then later, before the end of the actual show, there will be caller info down here. So pretty amazing. Again, we spend anywhere from now 9 to 12 hours on the show because we end up going premiering this on YouTube afterwards. So if you're on YouTube, you're actually watching the replay, and I am there with you. I usually sit through the entire show and watch myself, which is not fun. Just so you guys have any questions, you can actually ask me personally in chat. That is me. And then To yesterday's super chats from YouTube will of course be read today. I appreciate you guys supporting. Obviously, we're having a lot of issues, and we are just fighting to kind of stay, up. Again, it's no fun coming over to a platform where half of the people that are already established here don't like you. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys that is coming over here and actually supporting us in every which way. We really do appreciate it, both, liking, subscribing, all of that stuff, and the people that are actually financially backing us as well, because it definitely does not feel good. Again, so there's a lot here. So we're going to unpack this. Again, you can do a second device, and you can actually follow along with us. So, without further ado, let's get into the news. Again, the number to call is 224-400-MARF. You can actually share anything with the Foogle fam if you can get through. All right, now, first off, we have a 6.5 quake that struck Puerto Rico last night amid heavy seismic activity. It says thousands of people fled their homes in Puerto Rico's southwest coast on Tuesday after a 10-day string of earthquakes crescendoed in a powerful magnitude 6.4 trembler that crushed an elderly man, injured at least 8 other people, and sent buildings tumbling into the ground. Now, after I finished the show last night, a lot of you guys were like, freaking out. You're like, you got to get this information to Marf in my chat. And I was like, I'm right here. I was in the chat. So I got the information, of course, and I am sharing it out. But again, this is actually part of a bigger thing that we should be concerned about. The smaller earthquakes. Now they are officially telling us that we need to be watching these. So I'll talk about that here in a second. They are literally giving us signs that something is up, and I think they know a little bit more than they are saying. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. So that 6.5, that is a massive quake. I don't know if you guys know, but as far as quakes go, that is a big one. And then emergency officials want you to take an added step to track smaller quakes. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And this is from New Madrid County. Of course, the Madrid part makes people cringe with fear because obviously we have the New Madrid. It says the earthquake map from the United States Geological Survey shows a lot of earthquake activity in the New Madrid County. Emergency workers want you to take an added step to help track these smaller quakes. New Madrid County EMA Director Dave McClarty said earthquakes rattle the area all the time because they are located on a fault line. We get uncomfortable between the shakes and we don't think much about it, McClarty said. And he said that although they get a lot of activity, people should not forget about the severity of earthquakes. We want them to be at least thinking about it like they should be about the weather. He said that that's why they encourage people to report them using a simple tool on the USGS website. There's a Google, did you feel it? And you Google, did you feel it? And then there's about 5 or 6 questions, and it takes less than about a minute to answer. So you guys can actually supposedly help them track these earthquakes. Here's the thing. I have always thought that I have felt earthquakes that nobody else, and then I will go to social media and you'll actually see on Facebook and others over the last 5 years I've seen people say we felt the ground shake, we felt an earthquake, and then you go to USGS and it's not there. That one really confused me because these are all areas that are actually tracked and they should have a seismometer on there. So I'm not saying anything, I can't technically, but again, you guys can kind of be the judge for yourself. Have you ever felt a quake and it was not reported? Did you ever feel a quake that was far too far away from the epicenter than it should have been? Of course, during the Ridgecrest earthquake, we took live calls from all over the country. We had at least 6 calls in a row from more than 300 miles away that people felt that big 7.1 and the 6.8 that happened there. Absolutely nuts. I mean, people had their pools sloshing around 500 miles away. So that is a very, very big quake that they had there. And large drone sightings reported in Castle Rock, Parker, and Fort Collins. Again, this is more counties actually reporting on the drones. Now, we just put out a video about one theory on the drones. I just heard another theory, which is absolutely insane to me, but it actually makes sense. someone said that there is something flying around that they are preparing to turn the White House or the Denver airport into the White House. Now, everyone for years and years and years, if you are in this niche, you probably already know there is an underground underneath the Denver airport. In fact, it's one of the largest constructions underground ever seen. It's got a network of baggage, crazy trails. I mean, it looks like something out of a movie. And it's an actual airport. It's all the luggage systems, and then down below there's tunnels. The thing is the construction that happened under the Colorado didn't even ever finish, I don't think. I mean, like, literally, they even made jokes about it. The Denver airport, in fact, let's see here, made jokes about having aliens and all sorts of things, and they kind of poked fun of it. And a lot of people thought that that was just kind of like, they were so blatantly obvious that it was something of kind of like a big FU. Let's see here. Again, they call this whatever they want to call this. I don't even like the C word, but again, they actually did have extremely weird stuff. If you haven't been to the Denver airport, it's changed a little bit, but they used to have murals, the famous murals that are all over the internet from the artist that had basically a man with a gas mask with a sword and dead children and all sorts of weird stuff. Again, this is something that actually was in the Denver airport. They have the Mason Society, I believe it is, that has their own plaque there. They have gargoyles and gremlins and all sorts of weird stuff. But that's not even the weirdest part. They did construction for like over 10 years underneath, and nobody knows where even all of the dirt went. It was just so weird. They have some huge network under it, and then they even have like a swastika shaped runways and stuff. So let me see if they have any of these weird things here. I don't know if they have any of the pictures on this. So let me actually go back and show you the pictures of some of this stuff. Mind you, a lot of this is the creepy photo. Again, this is a whole rabbit hole by itself. This is kind of what people... So to get to the theory of what people are thinking is they say that the drones... because they are thinking about making the Denver airport the new White House, say some sort of huge disaster happens and the Denver airport would become the new White House, they are checking the surrounding areas for any kind of, bases or something. Dex, did you hear this one, by the way? I don't think we even got a chance to talk about this one.
No, I did not. This is news to me. It's amazing.
Yeah, I believe the mods...
I've heard of Denver. I mean, I know about everything that's going on at Denver Airport, but I didn't know about this possibility that you're talking about.
Yeah, and how's this? Seriously, straight out, this is not an animation. This is the real statue outside of the Denver Airport. If this wasn't about the creepiest airport that has ever been, I don't know what is. Literally, it has symbology all over the place, and when it had the murals and this horse outside and everything else... of course, behold a pale white horse. I don't even know. I could just disappear off of all platforms if I say that out loud. I don't know. But this, you've got the four horsemen. And of course, people are saying that this is like where people would go during an apocalypse. The thing is they do have some sort of crazy bunker under there. And there are several locations. That's not crazy to think about. I mean, the United States is all about contingencies. In fact, half of the things that they do is all contingencies. Here's what I was talking about with the design of the runway. If you look, if they highlight that, you, of course, get that. All right, so then, okay, let's see here. So again, with this, the large drone sightings, it says the mysterious aircraft are now being spotted on the outskirts of Metro Denver. Dozens of Castle Rock and Parker residents have been reporting seeing the large drones hovering over their cities for the past several days. Now, people that are actually in the Foogle fam have seen these things right outside their windows, have seen the big ones, 6-foot wingspans. So apparently there's two different kinds of drones. and they have equipment on them. They say, everyone that I've talked to that has seen these things says that the planes have these things hanging down below, like it's almost like this big rig. And then the small ones are multiple blades, 8 blades at least. So not anything that you would buy at a Best Buy. You're talking about a commercial drone that can hold 30, 40 pounds. So they have some sort of camera system, some sort of surveying equipment. Maybe it's FLIR. I don't know what it is, but they're surveying this entire state. And that's why this whole thing of, they're possibly making a contingency plan for kind of a nuclear exchange that actually is realistic. The thing is USA does, in all other countries, as far as allies and some of our non-allies, they do contingency in military. So even if it's a 0.001% chance of it happening, they will actually go out and do the drills. What scares me is, all of the drills that have been going around the country, and it's very specific. I'm like, well, why is it so specific? Like the drills in multiple places all over the country, they're even hiring actors for a vehicle driving up, going boom, and chemicals squirting everywhere. That's a very specific drill that's going on around the country. In fact, I've shown you the live newscasts from those. They have full triage, fake blood, all that kind of stuff. So this, as far as this goes, it is no lie. These are huge drones. Even the smaller ones, which are about 3 feet wide, those should be FAA registered. They're not. So something huge is going on here, and they're not even seeing this. It says, additionally, a handful of Fort Collins residents have reported large numbers of drones over the city. It says they were like 4 to 5 feet, just blinking lights, said Scott Lucasi, a Castle Rock resident who has spotted the drones from his backyard 2 different nights. Castle Rock resident Brian Toomey sent Fox 31 cell phone video of the drones. He estimates that they were at least 6 feet across. It's interesting that someone's looking at something. Jim and Pratty Thews were driving home from dinner when they saw the aircraft. You could see them. There were 4 of them, perfectly spaced, Jim said. All of the Castle Rock residents who spoke with Fox 31 say that the drones were large, but clearly not airplanes or helicopters. Many are a bit unnerved by what they saw, now wanting to know who is operating the drones. I don't understand why they don't want the public to know unless there's something hidden, says Jim Thews, who does not sound at all like that. It says the fact that no one is jumping on it from the government, the FAA doesn't seem concerned. It's got to be the government, added his wife, Patty. Well, what do you guys think it is? Do you think that this is some sort of hobby group that just made their own and didn't register these with the FAA? Come on. This is straight up a government operation of some sort. They are surveying something for some huge reason. It's just odd that at this same exact point that we have all this stuff going on with this other country, that you have these actually surveying all of Colorado. So that's what makes me almost believe. I forget which mod it was, and if you're in the chat right now, it was either J-Stone, Alish, or someone else said it to me, and I couldn't remember which one. But I just thought that was a really interesting theory. With that being said, if you want to protect yourself against EMP, you should definitely invest in an EMP Shield. You know, these guys are affiliates, so a small percentage of the commission goes to us. But again, that is so we can run shows like this and do broadcasts like this. Of course, after getting booted from live over there, we are over here, and it's definitely going to hurt. But as far as this goes, even if you have to go around us, this is going to end up saving lives if we have an EMP or even a natural CME, which a natural CME, coronal mass ejection, will happen. We just have no idea if we'll be prepared for it yet. As we know from public, MSM, from independent news, it doesn't matter where you look. If you look at the president's Twitter right now, we are not protected against an EMP or a CME. Even for the people that say we'll never have an EMP happen, which is now easier to do than ever. New news is coming out about that, which I called it multiple times. I told you there's going to be more news about Congress, about everything that's coming out. And what happened? It came out. And now everybody is getting on the bandwagon because everybody finally believes me. The thing is even if there's no EMP, there can be a solar flare that hits, a solar storm that hits the Earth and knocks out all power. This will at least protect your devices. Somebody says, well, what if the grid never comes back on? If you have a device like this on your generator, if you have gas stored, then you will be fine, at least as much as gas you have. And if you have a vehicle, if it doesn't run, then what good is it? If you have a bug out spot, how are you going to get there? If you have a home and a generator and a vehicle, then you're set. You're ready to post up. But again, if you have an EMP shield on your generator, then if you also have one on your home, you can actually then start up all of your things in your home, and they're not fried. Because when an EMP or a CME does end up hitting, it's going to be absolutely horrendous. So again, that's not the only thing you'll need. You'll also need Second Amendment protection too. So think about that. Marfooglenews.com/EMP. Of course, EMP Shield is a 100% lightning guarantee backed by a $25,000 insurance policy, and it's 100% American made in Kansas, and it's veteran owned. Can't get better than that. New incident at Mar-a-Lago under criminal investigation by Secret Service. Mar-a-Lago has become a top destination for Trump tourism. Experts say a Mar-a-Lago in particular provides unprecedented level of access by people to the president. Yeah, that's kind of, I didn't actually know that. So I guess if you do get to stay there, you probably can go right up to him or something. It says Palm Beach police say they're conducting a, quote, open and active criminal investigation at Mar-a-Lago, President DT's South Florida estate, following an unspecified incident Monday evening. It says the Secret Service is leading the investigation and no arrest has yet been made, but according to the Palm Beach Police Department, they said Michael Ogrodnik, I think we've read this name before too. Michael Ogrodnik, a police spokesman, declined further comment Tuesday, citing the investigation, but the department did provide a nearly completely redacted incident report showing officers were called around 7 p.m. to, quote, assist another law enforcement agency. The Secret Service did not respond to a request for comment. So basically the cops came and they redacted everything, so we have no idea. But something serious might have gone down. I guess I have no news to tell you. But I would guess that there's a lot of stuff that goes on there.
Yeah, and Adam, with what we talked about last night and the sleeper cells, and hey, we're going after specific T-Man locations that he owns. I don't know. You know what something could have gone. I won't understand. I mean, why is it so important that they redact everything? When nationalists in there, they tell us about it immediately. But this happened and they didn't tell us anything.
So, and if you don't know what he's talking about, last night we covered a story which basically they were saying that some of the big wigs in Iran were saying they're less concerned about going after America and more concerned about going after our president. And they said that they actually had a list of all of his properties. So it's just kind of funny timing that this happened right after that. No, I didn't make that connection, Dex. That's a really good point. So, I mean, this is literally something that, again, after the whole strike, which we're going to talk about, we're going to get, this stuff is, I know people in our Foogle fam group that are actually like driving to their spots, and we're not there yet. I have not gotten a call from any of my family member. We've got some people that are actually, they would know at least probably a day or two in advance if there was anything coming here. So that's kind of something that I wouldn't do unless it was like last resort. And if that ever happened, I would blast it if I was able to. It's just kind of weird that, January came and just a few days in, somehow they found some little thing. And we can't go out and blast live to our huge audience. It's kind of funny. Again, if you've never watched before, we do have Marfoogle TV at 101,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then Marfoogle News, which is at 148,000 subscribers. So almost 250, almost 250,000 people that we could reach with information. We cannot do that live anymore, at least for a period of time. Iran launches 15 ballistic missiles into Iraq, targeting U.S. coalition forces, officials say. So this is the big thing. And trust me, I'm going to make it sound like it's rainbows, because, man, this is bad. It says National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin reports from the Pentagon. It says Iran fired as many as 15 ballistic missiles into Iraq, targeting U.S. military and coalition forces early Wednesday. Officials said in a major retaliation by the rogue regime after the U.S. airstrike that killed Iranian Quds Force General Qasem Soleimani last week. It says 10 missiles hit Assad Air Base, 1 missile hit a military base in Erbil, and 4 missiles failed, according to a U.S. military spokesman for Central Command, responsible for American forces in the Middle East. The attacks unfolded into 2 waves, about an hour apart. So it says initial assessments showed no U.S. casualties, a U.S. military official in Baghdad told Fox News. President T-Man did not immediately respond, and the White House eventually said he would not make an address on the nation Tuesday. So he has actually changed that. I guess in the morning he's going to be talking about some of this. It says White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham said after the attack, quote, "We are aware of the reports of attacks on U.S. facilities in Iraq. The president has been briefed and is monitoring the situation very closely and consulting with his national security team." So there's a lot of things going on that we're not even going to see. There's big things happening. It says it was not immediately clear how the U.S. may respond. So lots of things have changed over the last 2 days, even in just every hour. Again, Dex, can you also look at what the current, if there's any updates here?
Yeah, already got it lined up. So we've got breaking news. It's in the scrolling ticker. We updated earlier. Sorry about the dings on the Dropbox. But what has happened apparently is a plane crash has happened just recently, leaving Ryan, headed towards the Ukraine, and it was a Ukrainian 737.
Okay,
a couple of tweets you can pull up that are in there, and then Singapore Airlines has actually diverted all flights out of the Iranian airspace, so they're getting their planes out of there because obviously the tensions are high right now. But yes, this other plane has gone down. It's been confirmed by state TV as well. It's 180 passengers and crew, an airport in Tehran.
Okay, this is actually huge. Okay. It says Ukrainian plane crash near Iran airport. A Boeing 6-passenger plane belonging to a Ukrainian airlines crashed after flying from Imam Khomami Airport. Initial news says the plane was bound for Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. Whoa, what the heck is this? So that's one of them. So check this out. And then we've got this. So look at this. This is all happening right now. It's 8:10 p.m. Let's see here. Let's load up this other one. Holy crow. Okay, so now what were you talking about with the 180 passenger plane? Is that something separate?
Yeah, so that translation, the translation you read from the person's tweet that he put out, 6 passenger. I think it's a 737. The official report, you can read the state report out of the card in Twitter. Out of the card in the screener, but that's the actual state report that came out from.
Okay, so this is the official report out of state media. Iranian state media, plane carrying 180 passengers crashes near Tehran. State TV in Iran is reporting that Ukrainian plane carrying 180 passengers and crew has crashed near an airport in Tehran, Iran. Wow, this is even bigger news. This is all happening right now as we are seeing this. Of course, if you're on YouTube, this is probably about 2 hours prior. So, wow, this is incredible. Okay, so if you guys watch, do you guys realize I said all of this 2 nights, 3 nights, and 4 nights ago? I even called 2 days ago after the first time happened. I said, we're going to see it happen overnight. And then at 7 o'clock in the morning, more stuff happened. I mean, this is the tit for tat stuff that we look for and that we see. We knew about some of this from our military group, which, some of this stuff that we shouldn't even be saying. But what I will say is the next step, where do you think it goes from here, Dex? I think this has got to be some sort of reaction.
I don't know. Do we retaliate and then they retaliate and we retaliate and we just go all out? I mean, or do we stop? Right? There's got to be a response. I would think. Now I'm hearing that they're saying, "Hey, this is our revenge for what you did." But if that's all it is, hopefully, as it stands right now, and I just saw a report that actual Iraqi officials and security officials have actually said no casualties as well. So we're getting more confirmations that there were no casualties. So if that's it, then that's pretty light. And if that's all that's going to happen, then maybe we could actually say, okay, let's move on. But I find it hard to believe that we're going to just let this slide.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's a little confusing for somebody who would just walk up. They don't know, who's striking who now. It's like, where did they strike? We almost need to put an animated map together of each different attack, where it was on a map, and do kind of a red line, yellow line type of thing. Like, I would love to do that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that we want to work on that we can do quickly, because obviously we spend a lot of time putting this kind of stuff together, putting the show together, putting all of this. People don't know. If you're in production, then you probably do know what goes into this show. But again, there's a couple things I want to do. I want to get some animators or animations on here so we can kind of show people and be more educational in a way, because it's very confusing when you don't follow every single night. I understand that. So if you don't follow my show every single night and you come in on one, I've been following the news every single day for 2.5 years. Before that, I followed it a lot, but this is what I do. When people started saying, we only get our news from you, that's where I started taking it seriously. So I guess I've seen the patterns, and any person with common sense can see that where this is going is not good. I don't know if it's exactly, WW3. What I do think is it's heading towards wiping out Iran in some different way. There's going to be a way. Everybody goes, nope, Russia and China will step in. Not if Iran does something so horrific that nobody can step in. Would they do that? Probably not. But will it happen? Probably. It will kind of be one of those magic, what is that? Take off your thumb. Yep. One of those tricks. If you know what I mean. Fantastic Freddy. So we don't know what's going to happen next. Either way, I mean, this is getting more serious by the day, and we've called it each and every time. I guess my prediction for the next step is another reaction. And the reaction is supposed to be bigger than the last. I mean, that's kind of common sense. The thing is like when we said we had 52 targets, that was to represent 52 people that died in one of theirs. Wait a second, Dex, do you remember? They said 290 people for the 290 people that we killed. And then they took down this plane. Do you realize that?
Right. Well, I don't know how many are on it. We'll have to find out what more comes from the report.
Well, they said 180 passengers. I wonder if they're trying to...
that was the size. That may have been the size of the plane.
That is pretty crazy.
It may have been, if it was full, it was 180. Hey, one other thing I was just reading. It appears that military officials have told other reporters that the military there actually had early warning. So obviously our defense systems are really good and really strong. So they were able to get everyone out of harm's way and into bunkers before the missiles hit. So that's
how
probably
we
what
have
saved lives, but
that's why we have no
so
casualties.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, so gosh, this is getting crazy. I'm getting texts and getting messages from Foogle fan members. There's a military member out of Mississippi that says he all of a sudden got a call. He is on leave. He is now being called back 4 days early. We've received a lot of messages like that. So this is the kind of thing. I think that they're going to draft us right now. No. But I do think that if you are currently serving right now, this is going to get a whole lot hotter. And is there anything to do? Some people get on our case because we're covering it, and what can we do about it, right? Are we just panicking people by covering this? I don't know. That's almost an inner debate sometimes. It's like, do you guys want to hear this, right? You guys are all awake people. I mean, it's not like we can go back to sleep and think that the world is all, ponies and rainbows. Unfortunately, I've been seeing the patterns for, now 2 years. I mean, I've been seeing the patterns since 2003 when I kind of woke up, did my research on September. But again, the patterns that are happening right now, these are getting way serious. Like I'm trying to be as fun as possible, but right now it's a little bit hard to do that, especially with everything going on. So, and it's like, yeah, the stuff that happened to us as far as why we're even on this platform, there's purges coming, like the thing they do right before a huge conflict is they control the information. And that's what scares me. Real quick, I want to say super chats, Sky Pilot. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your super chat. Jesus, please protect this channel. Thank you. I appreciate that, Sky Pilot. Jamie Martini Franklin. Thank you again. Says much love. I appreciate you, Jamie Martini Franklin, and you will end up in the shoutro as well. Bo Nielsen. Thank you so much from the DKK. I don't know where that is from. If you end up saying something next time, I will definitely shout it out. And then Allison White. Thank you so much. That's serious. I told you have your own song in the shoutro. Thank you, Marf, Dex, Mods. I hope things work out for you. You work so hard and we appreciate it. Thank you, Allison White. Again, thank you for the super chat last night. Susan Donahue. Susan, I can't even say enough. Like, you have been one of my biggest supporters through thick and thin, through getting doxxed, attacked, trolled, everything. So thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. She says, get prepped up, get prayed up, put on the full armor of God. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Again, if you end up doing a super chat tonight, it will be on tomorrow's show. I don't know. I think, yes, tomorrow's show. So thank you guys. We appreciate it. We were right in the middle of expansion and then everything kind of fell apart. So thank you guys. Seriously. All right. And let's get on back. We've got the breaking news covered, and then we've got even more. So this is the actual tweet from Mr. Donald, and it says, all is well, missiles launched from Iran at 2 military bases located in Iraq. Assessment of casualties and damages taking place now. So far, so good. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world by far. I will be making a statement tomorrow morning. So one reason he does that, and one reason he said that part, is to put people at ease. If you haven't noticed, anything he says could put everybody in a panic. If you want to talk about fear-mongering, there's never really been a president that talks like he does on Twitter, and people do and have gotten scared before. But again, he put us at ease with saying we have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world by far. So I think that was him trying to tell us, like, we've got this down. Wow, you can actually watch his retweets and his likes go up. like by the thousands. Look at that. There are so many people retweeting and liking this right now. You can actually see the live ticker go up. It just got another 100, another 100, another 100. That's insane. Wow, look at that. You can actually see it going up. Yeah, I'm just so used to it. My Twitter gets like, 20 likes, and I'm like, 21, yeah. 307,500. Make that 700. Dang. Our president is liked. All right, and then banned. Just banned. He is so liked. You're gone off the platform. All right, and again, if you want to get with like-minded people, and this has been super serious, this is the main... Nobody believes me, too. The people that think I'm their competition and all these people that are basically other YouTubers and other platformers, they all have, this kind of like inferiority thing or something going. The main point of this is to get you guys into Discord, get you meeting up with people, and actually get you prepared for disasters. Because there's big ones coming. I was put here for a purpose. I went from nothing to this in 2 years. This was meant to be. You guys need to meet up every Sunday, usually every Sunday and Monday. I meet with the group. So I spend my 2 days off meeting with the groups. The groups are what matters. This is why I went commercially viable. It's why we try so hard to stay on the big platforms. Because once we get you in the door, then we let you know. There are people just like you that don't think you're crazy for looking up at that plane spraying all over the place. They don't think you're crazy for thinking there's inside jobs everywhere. We don't think you're crazy for believing that there's more than one narrative. So again, you can hop into Discord. We have almost 12,000 people in there now, and they're meeting in state groups. Some of our groups are as big as 150 people meeting every week, every bi-weekly, or every month. So these groups include a lot of militia. We've got a lot of militia and a lot of military folks that are right underneath us. So thank you guys for backing us up. And if you are ex-military or current military, you have to be confirmed. We just want to make sure you're not false valor. And then you can get into that exclusive military channel. Again, you guys are what is making this channel a great source for military information. Again, go to marfooglenews.com and sign up for Marfoogle Alerts. That you can actually do. That's a free service we pay for to make sure that you guys will get our stuff when we send it. And we don't blitz you either. We've done probably once, on average, about one a month, and we usually send out detailed information. The last one we did was a timeline from December 3rd to about January 1st of what was going on with Iran. So with that being said, U.S. does not want to start a war with Iran, but is prepared to finish one, says Chief Esper. It says the United States is not looking to start a war, but we are prepared to finish one, says the U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper on Tuesday, justifying the recent U.S. decision to assassinate Revolutionary Guard Quds Force General Qasem Soleimani. It says, Esper said Washington had been, quote, persuasive evidence of Soleimani's alleged malign plans to harm Americans, which was more than razor thin. Wow. So wait a second. More than razor thin. Is that like a double negative or something? Wait a second. Do you get that, Dex? More than razor thin. He's saying that.
Yeah, I think it's more thin.
It says the fact of the matter is Soleimani was caught red-handed on the ground in Baghdad, one T leader of a T organization meeting with another T leader to synchronize and plan additional attacks on American diplomats. When they actually said he was trying to plan for peace, right? He was trying to make everything so peaceful. I don't know if that's the case, but I definitely think somebody had some heads up on that and got him. And apparently he had no chance. Like, that's literally, he had no chance whatsoever. What really gets me, and I don't know if I can say this on either platform, but New York Times saying that he was a national war hero. And I'm just like, what crack are they smoking over there? Not only that, there was another mainstream story that actually predicted exactly what happened. There was a couple things. It's just weird, okay? It's almost like they knew what was going on. It says the second so-called T leader the Pentagon chief was referring to was Abdul Mahdi al-Mohandis, the head of the Baghdad-allied Kataha Hezbollah Shia militia movement, who was killed alongside Soleimani Friday morning after the convoy they were traveling in was targeted by a U.S. Reaper drone. I just love saying Reaper drone. What a cool name. Reaper drone. Yeah. So if you want to read the rest of this, you can at marfooglenews.com. It is definitely a very important one. UN informants. Iran mission that is U.S. will not issue visa to Zarif to join Security Council meeting. Now, why is this important, Dex? Probably because we're about to get a little bit more serious, right?
Yeah, and actually the treaty, excuse me, the treaty says we have to do it, and we're actually saying no, we're not going to let him in. And he wants to come in. He's got to come into the Security Council, and we're saying no. At the moment, we're just not issuing him the visa.
Okay, so do you guys get what's going on? So the UN, the United Nations, is informing Iran mission that the U.S. will not let him in. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the not letting him in. Yeah, we're not letting him in.
Well, basically, we told... No, I get what you're saying. We told the UN we're not letting him in. So now the UN went back to him and said, they're not giving you a visa.
Exactly.
So that's a big deal.
And they're saying, hey, the treaty requires us to do it. But, we're just not doing it at the moment. So we'll see how this plays out. We may actually let them in, but we're not at the moment. We're not doing it.
Not right now. And if that's the case, that's kind of a big sign that we might just tear them to pieces, or we're just still really mad and maybe we're trying to give them that idea. Maybe this is pounding on our chest and saying, no, because that's exactly what they're thinking, or most people are thinking. If they're not letting this main guy join the Security Council in the U.S., not even with a temporary visa, they're basically saying nobody's coming in here. We're going to, this is conflict right now. We're going to throw down. So, that's pretty much, that is the article right there too. So, let's see here. Air Force launches 52 fighter jets in training exercise. Isn't that funny? 52 keeps popping up. Somebody last night, I did laugh at this, and I'm not trying to make fun of you, said 52 states. Of course, there's only 50 states in the United States of America. But I have talked to a couple of people that actually confused 50 states. They thought that it was 50 states before Hawaii and Alaska, and then we had 52. It was 48, and now it's 50. Anyways. Hill Force Air Force Base, the U.S. Air Force conducted an exercise involving the launch of 52 fighter jets from a Utah air base, officials said. Hill Air Force Base launched the F-35A Lightning II fighters over a 10-minute period around 11 a.m. Monday, the Standard Examiner reports. So I'm pretty sure, Dex, but I think the F-35A Lightning IIs are like the dopest, craziest, most advanced fighters we have. Is that right? Or is there one more advanced than that? I'm pretty sure that's
they're
the
pretty good. Yeah, F-35s are the top.
Specifically the A, because like there's another version that we actually sold, or we were going to sell to, what was it, India, or I know that we were going to sell some to Taiwan, and then China got pissed off because obviously, they don't want us to sell those, or we were going to sell them to Japan. It was something like that. We covered it about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And even the downgraded ones are better than China's. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I really thought the interesting part here, as you said, is the number. Why did we do 52? I mean, what if it was 50 or 51? No, it's 52.
That's really weird. I'm sorry. There's just all these things with the numbers are coming out. And then the 300...
That or we're all right?
We're all what?
That or we're all just looking for the number, right?
Yeah. Well, like, I know that my Q homies are all looking for 17s, and some of them, I'll have to say, are looking for it a little bit too much. They're like, that's an 11 and a 6. It must be 17. I don't get some of the numerology stuff, but, you know, I have seen them actually use it in symbology, especially if you go back to classified documents. They used to do it as part of codes, and they would do it in plain sight. So, and they would even do it in newspapers. I don't know if you guys knew that. They would put out a headline and say specifically, like, make up a story like 6 people died and 8 people whatever, and then they would do that code, and then that told... that was the only way they could get information out to some of the people that were in a different zone. They would pay somebody off at the newspaper or something like that. All sorts of crazy stories from the 40s and 50s that had that in it. So now they're declassified, of course. The 388th and 419th Fighter Wings conducted the combat exercise that sent the jets west to the Utah test and training range to perform various missions. Colonel Michael Ebner, the 388th Vice Commander, said Monday's exercise had been planned as, quote, culminating event after the 2 fighter wings received their full complement of fighter jets. Excuse me, I had to cough there. Well, the effort was intended to demonstrate an ability to conduct a large-scale combat deployment in a short time. It was not in a direct response to the United States escalating situation with Iran, Ebner said. That's... Okay, I'm going to zoom in for this one. That's completely coincidental. There are no coincidences, my friends. There is no coincidence. Sorry, just wanted to get that across. Yeah, right. Okay, first of all, it's just purely coincidental that we launch 52 jets as part of a training exercise that obviously is public, that they will see as well. It's like a sign saying, we're ready to go at any moment, and we'll take you out. Or they are actually preparing. Do you guys remember? See, everybody thinks that something happens like this, and then all of a sudden it's conflict or war, right? These things are planned 6 months, a year, 2 years in advance, 10 years in advance, 20 years in advance. But everything plays out. They wait for little things to happen. Do you guys agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion. I would love to hear you call me at 224-400-MARF. Again, they wait for these things, and it's all part of a long-term plan. Especially when you're talking about these drills, right? We had just about a month and a half ago, before all of this stuff, which is really freaking people out, we had them do the whole sea command, right? These are the boats and the ships that actually take all the tanks over. They said a normal drill consists about one or two of these huge ships doing a drill. They said that they had all of them. They said, hey, act like you have 5 days to get up and ready right now. Drill. Gave them 0 notice, and they said all of you have to be up and ready within 5 days. At the end of the 5 days, that was a previous deadline that we were hitting back then, and we thought, oh, this might be something. Now, with this going on and all of these drills happening at the same time, they're getting everything combat ready. China is getting everything combat ready. Russia is getting everything combat ready. We know this from satellite issued photos. We know this from actual money flow. You're talking about the money that is going through Congress, the money that is going through. They're doing all these drills in the White House, around Washington. They're doing all these drills. Now, it looks like they're doing something around Colorado. These are the points, like if we had a contingency plan, if there was an all-out nuke war. This is what really freaks me out, is you've seen the movies, you've seen Jericho, you've seen these things, and people just assume that will never, ever happen. I never put that off. But again, if it does happen, we're going to be gone in an instant. So I guess, should we be afraid? I think it would really suck if you were just far enough from a nuclear blast that all your skin gets melted off or something, or you go blind and accidentally look at it or something. That would suck. I would rather be in the blast zone, like just cremated instantly. But that's just me. But again, there are the what ifs. People think that it's just absolutely impossible. There is a chance that could happen. In fact, most experts say that the chance is higher right now than it has been in the last 40 years, even higher than it was during the Cold War. So what do you guys think? Give me your opinion. I'd love to hear it. 224400Marv. If you guys would like to support us a different way, if you have never heard about earthing, this is something that I believe in 100%. You guys have to try it before you knock it. Essentially, you can do this for free as well. You can go out in your yard, just like the picture shows, and go barefoot. It sounds crazy, but it is actually different than somebody standing with rubber soles, which actually basically stops the electricity right there. We are made of electricity. Our brains are sending electrical impulses at all time. It absolutely makes sense that we should be grounded along with all of our devices. Everything else that's electrical needs to be grounded. The mat that I use to put on my bed, it has changed my life. If you guys remember my show, it used to be at 1 o'clock, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I would start it then. I did this because I could not sleep. I had such severe intestinal issues, IBS, all sorts of other things that have now, they're still there. They don't go away. But I have had so much less inflammation and everything because of this, and I've told every family member about this. Again, Clint Ober is a good friend of ours. Again, you can watch the full Earthing movie if you go to this website. If you need it, it has Amy Smart, Muriel Hemingway, Deepak Chopra. All those people actually do. Lots of celebrities do it, but who cares about that? If it works, it works. And Big Pharma doesn't want you knowing about it, so definitely suggest it. Go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. Again, once you try it, again, that helps us. You'll be telling your friends and family about it. Definitely pretty awesome. Free shipping with the code MH. Just remember Muriel Hemingway, MH. All right, and then let's see here. We've got Iran threatens to set U.S. allies ablaze as stampede kills dozens at Qasem Soleimani funeral. So, again, this was at the funeral. Kills dozens. So there was a stampede. It says, when asked whether he was still considering targeting Iranian cultural sites at a meeting with Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis on Tuesday, President T-Man said that he liked to, quote, obey the law. They're allowed to kill our people. They're allowed to maim our people. And actually, this was wrong. Maim. They're allowed to maim, with an M at the end, our people. They're allowed to blow up everything that we have, and there's nothing that stops them. And we, according to various laws, are supposed to be careful with their cultural heritage. And you know what? If that's what the law is, I like to obey the law. I love how he said this so many different ways in tweets and in public. He's like, yeah, okay. He basically said, yeah, you got me. Okay, we'll follow the law. Okay, yeah, just wait, because the next thing is going to be huge. You know what I mean? He's going to give them the good old Trump-a-lumpin'. But think of it. They kill our people, they blow up our people, then we have to be very gentle with their cultural institutions. But I'm okay with it. You know, it's okay. It's okay to me. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I will say this, though. If Iran does anything that they should not be doing, they're going to be suffering the consequences, and very strongly. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Vinny, come over here. Talk to the press. I got to go, I got to go do my business. I don't know why Trump is a New Yorker mobster, but yeah, that's how I read it. Mr. T-Man's comments came after he appeared to threaten Iran's cultural sites on a tweet on Saturday. So, and I've covered that 3 nights in a row, so I'm sure you guys know that one by heart by now. Pompeo, T-Man admin, ready to launch more strikes on Iran. Now, was this prior or after, Dex? Do we know if we loaded this prior or after? I don't know if this is before the last one. Let's see.
No, this is recent, I think.
Yeah, so this is Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that the T-Man administration would not hesitate to conduct further military strikes. So again, we kind of all knew that, against Iran following the killing of Iranian military leader.
Speaking, yeah, Adam, this was before. Sorry, yeah, this was right before. This came out today before. So that's, I guess, this would set the stage to say if they did something to us, we're going to retaliate, right?
So that totally makes sense. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Speaking before reporters on Tuesday, the nation's top diplomat warned Tehran that if it makes another bad choice, which it did apparently, or somebody did, President DT is prepared to approve further military actions like the drone strike in Iraq that took out Soleimani. Quote, "We got it right," Pompeo said of the intelligence factors that prompted the administration to move against Iran's top general last week. It was the right decision. So what I want to know is, what were they actually thinking? What were they planning? If it's true that they were planning to do something against us, what was that plan? He says he saved, did he say he saved millions of lives or thousands of lives? Wasn't there something that he said? I couldn't remember.
Well, I thought he said that, I thought he said that he did this to save us from going to war, right? That was the quote.
So, what were they planning? That's what I want to know. What was Iran actually planning against us? It makes you think, if they had a plan that was just ready to set off. We've talked about sleeper cells over the last 8 months. We had the Afghan and Iraqi, or was it? We had several countries that were related. Saudi Arabian, Afghanistan. All these pilots that we were training how to fly and then went AWOL, disappeared. Sounds familiar, right? We were actually training them in combat school to fly, and then they went AWOL in the United States at our training facility. It's kind of weird. Right before all this happens, remember, we covered it. Anybody who watches my show all the time knows we looked at that and we kind of said, this is might turn into something. Then, of course, if it's true that he was planning on something, what if those were a part of that? And we actually trained them to do the attack on ourselves. It's something to think about. It's pretty wild, I think. All right, let's see here. Oh, man. And again, we will be keeping track of breaking news as it comes out. Of course, Dex is keeping us on track. And let's see. It says, "I think the president's been unambiguous in his both the remarks he made down in Florida as well as the tweets that he has put out about the seriousness which we take this, the risk attendant that we are deeply aware of, and the preparations we've made to prevent those risks." So this is a very, very, very big thing. And then it says, as they plot retaliatory attacks, including ones that could take place within the United States, the administration will take decisive action to protect American citizens and its regional assets. Okay, so if he's number one and he's plotting this horrible thing that would have guaranteed start war, do you think number 2, 3, 4, 5 are not going to take over where he left off? So what's the next option? Take out the whole country. Is that crazy for me to say? Dex, do you think so?
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy to think. I mean, it's within the realm of possibilities here. Tensions are high, so...
If you guys are missing notifications, make sure that you know that you can go to marfooglenews.com, and there's a little red bell in the lower right-hand corner. So if you're looking at the website on your phone, it's somewhere down right around here. And then if you click on that, you can actually subscribe to notifications. And when you subscribe to notifications with us, you actually get notified, unlike some of these other platforms. Just saying. It has worked with almost all browsers and Android. iOS is coming soon. Look for the prompt and click the bell in the bottom right-hand corner. And then we've got Canada's military temporarily relocating some troops from Iraq to Kuwait in wake of Soleimani killing. Why do you think that they're moving Canadian troops, Dex? This is.
I think that's a sign of them not wanting to support us. Not necessarily, standing there and being strong would be one sign. Saying, "Hey, you guys just made a mess over here, and we don't want nothing to do with it." That's another sign. And I think that's how I read it. When I saw that, that's what I was thinking.
So Canada's kind of being a bee, huh? A little bee. It says the move, which Vance announced in a letter to the families of Canadian soldiers in Iraq and the surrounding region that was posted to Twitter on Tuesday, follows the lead of Germany and several other allies who have withdrawn some of their troops. Western troops in Iraq have been on high alert since the weekend killing of a top Iranian military general. So this is something we didn't cover. So Germany and all of these other allies are taking their troops out? What the hell is going on? Are they going to drop Moabs all over the place or something? Like, why are they taking them out? Are they doing it? Are they not going to get our back if we do end up getting in this thing? Like, if they back out now, are they just backing out now and going, oh, we're not going to be a part of that, but then when we go, they have to get our back, so that's kind of stupid, right?
Yeah, Adam, I think so. And I think that, we're going to have to see what maybe comes out of the conversations at the UN now, right? Because we'll see what they say and see if it lines up with their actions. And because it does seem little... What they're saying
is, it says that it was to ensure their safety and security. So I don't know if this is because they're saying we don't want to be a part of that mess. More so, they don't want their soldiers to be a permanently part of a mess, like in graves coming back. I don't know. There's something going on, and I would love to know what. Draft letter telling Iraq of U.S. pullout already had Arabic version. Wow. So we covered this when it first came out. Basically, there was a letter. Wait a second. Yeah, it was okay. Not to be confused with the draft. This was a draft letter saying that they were going to pull out troops, and it mistakenly got out. Well, then they said, no. We're not withdrawing. We're just moving them around the region. It says Iraq says unsigned U.S. troop withdrawal letter sent by mistake counts despite Arabic translation not matching the English. As Pentagon chief vows, quote, we are not leaving, but Donald insists it will happen at some point. So this was kind of the letter. Here's a little picture of it. Actually, it's mirrored. But there was a letter of sorts, and it got out, and it was official. It was just a draft, and it was unsigned at the bottom. So it was, wrote with the name at the bottom, but not a signature. And they thought, oh, wow, they're actually pulling out all their troops. They were not. It was an accident that it got out or something, whatever they say. See, I think little things like this happen, and we don't know the actual true story behind it, which is really kind of freaky. Don't you guys think? I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. All right, let's see here. By the way, based knickers, peed and sheed my pants. That's great. That's a good name. Knicker National. Yeet Daddy 88. High Res. Micah Love In. Livin' D Live. What is going on? You guys have lots of interesting names over here. Let's see here. Don't want to see that again. Aiko Khan, Crystal King. Let's see. Jacqueline Martinez, Sandra 1209, Lisa Curry, Ruby Red 1, Crazy Coyote. We've got Deuce Volt Bear. I wonder if you have Bear at the end, if you're an Owen Benjamin fan. I've seen a lot of Bear at the end people, and they were all part of this like group of people that were followers of Owen Benjamin. Red in the Valley, what's up? Thank you for popping over here. Thank you for taking the time to actually get over here. Let's see. Cherry Boo 65, Gem Fuzion, Bunny Hay, Karate Kado, Retriever Mom, and Triple D Big. Some of these names, man, they actually make me fun. Hey, Estafo. Hey, what's going on? Gerald Cacararo. Overbuilt Automotive, Kelly Joe, Spud Ruckus, Lovely Stoats, Cue It Up, Caustic, Nightface, Lupe Fiasco. Is that actually you, Lupe? And then Jetty 1, Derby Life, to Wesley, Heretical Monk. What is up, guys? Kingsmen Report, thank you for always participating. I appreciate it. And then Montana Dingo Dog Fondage, thank you for coming over. Thank you guys all for coming over, really. Seriously, I really appreciate it. Okay, and then, of course, we do have a chest. If you stick around to the end, we have a huge chest by the end of the show. Never said that before. But yeah, we will bust that open. Okay, and then for you YouTube people, if you end up wanting to make any kind of super chat, you may do so, and I will end up putting it in the next show. So thank you guys. I appreciate your support. All right, and then Dex, NordVPN, why should they have NordVPN? I can tell them at least it helps support us and it protects you, especially when you have other countries trying to hack your entire infrastructure. You should probably protect yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. If you don't have a VPN, you need a VPN. It's so simple. Don't let it scare you, right? Having protection for your computer, it can be simple and can be easy, and NordVPN is one of those tools that's like a must-have, and it's real easy to use. It'll protect your IP address, your identity from potential hackers, and it'll secure your connection whenever you're communicating across the internet. So if you're in a public Wi-Fi, or even if your own Wi-Fi's been compromised, it'll help protect you from that. So real easy to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. They've got great discounts just for the Foogle fam, and I think they're even including their password manager product and giving up to 80% or more discounts. So it's really a great offer for the fam.
Well, not only that, if somebody has the access to get into your computer or to your cell phone, that's the other thing. This protects different devices. They can literally take your entire life. They can become you. You always hear about those, but right now, there are people that are doing it from their couch in other countries. This is literally what they're focused on. You have probably been affected by some form of this, and you haven't even known about it. So again, Nord is one of the biggest brands out there. Make sure to check it out. All right, and then again, that is marfooglenews.com/VPN. Use the code Marfoogle. And nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers differ considerably from my own views, Dex's views, or anyone who helps this show. And then you should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news. Please take everything with a grain of salt. So if somebody calls in and says that Bigfoot is heading towards New York right now with the help of Godzilla and Mothra, then you might want to check up on that. So with that being said, if you want to check out Marfoogle News, our main channel on YouTube, you can do so. It is still there. It's not banned yet. And it is at 148,000 subscribers. Or if you want to check out this channel on DLive or on this channel on YouTube, you can actually go to marfoogle.tv. Very easy to do. If you type that into any browser, you will get to Marfoogle and subscribe. If you want to share Marfoogle News, all you have to do is type in marfoogle.news. Post it up on a poster. Get people in the Discord groups. Again, that's almost 250,000 total subscribers. I think we're actually at it if you add up, because it doesn't show you, but I think this one's at about 700, this one's at about 800, so we're actually probably past. So thank you guys for all of your support through all of the thick and thin crap that has happened to us. No joke, it has been a really tough road doing this show, and I've loved every minute of it knowing you guys. So if we disappear tomorrow, I hope you guys would have my back and make an uproar and go to all sorts of platforms and, protest with handcuffs or something, or maybe just send a letter via Twitter or something. But, either way, if you want to do handcuffs and stuff, that's up to you. All right. I'll just keep going. All right. So we're going to get the calls going. Looks like we have Bones up first. Let's see here. Yes. Dang, we are going to have a huge thing at the end. Okay. Bones, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What is going on?
Hey, Marv. How you doing?
Good. So, Bones, let's see. I'm going to pull up your card here. It says that you have a Chinook video. Cool. So is it okay if I have your permission to play this?
Yes, you do.
Okay, one sec. All right, so explain what we're going to be looking at here.
Well, it's a Chinook that I was at a truck stop in Kentucky, and this Chinook was really, really low, had his landing gear down, and did circles around the truck stop, and then went south. He actually looked like he was looking for a place to land, maybe for training or something. I'm not sure. But it just seems odd because you never see that in that area.
So this is the video that we have here. Let's see here.
Look at this here. Chinook. Get right over the top of me.
It took me a minute to get it going there because it did 2 circles around the truck stop.
And it is not cheap to fly those.
Wasn't that interesting? Kind of funny. I don't think I've ever seen one of those Chinooks with. There he is again. Yeah. Have a good day.
You know, and another thing is, so people have been sending us those kind of videos from all over the country. They are drilling. They are not cheap to. They're not cheap at all to fly. We did the math on it one day. These things are extremely, extremely expensive gas-wise. The fuel that runs these frickin' Chinook aircraft is unbelievable. So that is pretty crazy, Bones.
Well, that right there is a special operations Chinook. It's outfitted with the where they can refuel in the air.
Yeah, it had that pipe coming off the front, which you can see at the very end there.
Oh yeah. And the story that you were talking about earlier too, with the plane, the 52 planes taken off.
Yes. That's what that picture was. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually how they took off, exactly like that, at a rose, and it's called elephant walk.
Elephant walk. Hold on.
You know how elephants grab each other by the tail, by the nose and the tail together, and they just walk along? That's what that's called.
So this is how the 52 planes took off. So this is how they were set up.
Yeah, that's how exactly how they took off.
Wow, can you imagine being on the other end of that? Look at those planes. Look at the windows, man. These things are so. That's beauty. Like these things are amazing.
If you're watching it, it would look like a carpet, like coming right off of the runway.
That is so sexy. Just looking at these things up close is just. With the light how it is, and you can see looks like actually a woman sitting here, and that's her chin sitting in this pilot seat, man. These things are so unbelievable. I mean, look at these jets. Sorry. Beautiful. I have an amazing amount of respect for these pilots, especially when they're actually going into battle. Like, this is. Eventually, we're going to use these. People think that we build these all day, every day, train them every day, and that we don't use them. These things are going to be used. Some of these people will see action in their lifetime. We are going to see some crazy things. But look at that. Those taking off. I always have dreams of all of these jets flying in formation above us. I would never want to see that because you're going to be in absolute hell. So yeah, What do you think about them launching the 52?
Well, that's training. We've seen there's multiple videos, pictures that we have seen and that been sent to us and been sent to you all over the country for the past 6 months to a year. So we've been gearing up for this. And the fact that there's a story, I do believe that I think you put it on that the aircraft carrier was parked in the Middle East.
Yes. Okay. Which one? There's a couple of them now, and go ahead.
But so when a carrier strike group is deployed, they're always moving. They're never parked. So does that raise any kind of Fugel fam type of things?
So you're saying
Fantastic Freddy's?
Yeah, like they're sitting ducks or something? Basically, what he's saying is these always move.
Park it.
Yeah, why are they just sitting there?
Especially with what's going on. So, yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
And again, carriers don't go by themselves. This is the normal kind of thing that you would see. These are all anti-air, everything else and they usually, and you've even seen movies. Oh, that's so crazy. Look at that. There's submarines. They usually have blocks from all different sides. In fact, there's famous ships that have been sunk because they didn't have, certain captains were fired or shamed because their ship was not in front of the carrier. Like they basically left them open. Usually they strategically placed boats around them. So if they launched something that it would hit the other boat first, because that carrier is like their queen bee. That's the nest that all these planes are going off of. And, without that, you lose half of your power there. So it's just crazy. So what he's saying is usually these things are moving all the time. You never see them stop anywhere.
Yeah.
They are parked right now.
And yep.
But usually, it's the Truman, isn't it?
The
expendable one.
It's the Truman that is parked. I do believe that's the story you had before.
And the Truman is expendable.
There's usually also a chopper retrofitted with it's a mine detection stuff.
Oh man, that is a trip.
There's usually a chopper in the air too, so it's just usually never parked. They're always moving.
So also, Bones, the Truman was set to be scrapped. It was literally going to be turned into scrap metal under T-Man's own budget. And then all of a sudden, T-Man said, no, we're keeping it. It goes out. It keeps basically breaking down. This thing's a piece of junk at this point, or at least that's what they say, right? It keeps going in to get fixed. Something breaks after something breaks. It's been around for a long time. Now they're parking it right where like it's bait or something, and it's essentially already rode off. Like they've rode it off, and they were like, nope, part of the budget, we're getting rid of Truman. Then he says we're keeping it. Then they park it right where it can get struck. And the thing is basically already rode off. So what does that guys tell you? In fact, one of my mods said that last night. Other than you weren't there last night, but it was after the second show. And somebody said, I worry about it because that one is basically set to be scrap metal. So they don't care about it. They might care about the people on it, but not that.
Also, you gotta look at the other factor in this. We did just set a new one. Just did set sail.
Yeah, the Lincoln.
Yep.
And the most advanced one. Or are you talking about the advanced one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that.
That could be to run, to hurry that along to get it commissioned.
Yeah, I don't know what will end up happening there. Well, Bones, thank you for calling in.
Wow.
Is there anything else you want to say before you go?
No, and hi everybody on D Live and later on YouTube. Have a great night.
All right, you too. Bones, have a great one. Bones is actually one of my favorite mods there. One of. Not my favorite. Bones, you're my favorite. Okay. Let's see here. Now we have Daisy Duke. First-time caller out of Texas. Daisy Duke, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Yeah, hi, Mark. I'm going to make this really brief. I have been on Discord as Daisy Duke in Texas, Region 4 and Region 5, because I'm actually right in the middle of all of that. In Texas, we're kind of like 5 or 6 states all in one because we're so large. But I haven't gotten anybody to respond to maybe meeting up together. Like, no one has responded. So I wanted just to call in and give a shout out that if you're anywhere in the panhandle of Texas all the way down to, let's say, the Permian Basin, Midland, Odessa area, we could definitely split it in the middle and meet in Lubbock. And so look for me, Daisy Duke, in Discord, Texas Regions 4 and 5, and let's see if we can make a time and place to meet up.
And that's the other thing. Now, have you checked the other regions? Because I do know Texas is one of the biggest states. Like California, a couple of the zones were not working out well, so they combined with other zones, and then it worked out great. And 30 or 40 people showed up. So that's one thing to consider. And by the way, I don't mind. I don't know if any of the people that are helping run our Discord care. But if you have to go to somebody else's zone, we should allow that because honestly, it's you that are driving out of your way to meet that zone. Again, there's a lot of people meeting in those groups, and you guys are actually the front line. Like, if stuff really does hit the fan, we need to be organizing. So that's a big deal.
Right. I have popped into some of the other regions, and I don't really see a whole lot going on, but I haven't popped in there often. But where from like the Panhandle, like Amarillo at the top, all the way down to like Midland and Odessa, that's a 4-hour drive. Right in the middle is a split of 2 hours, so that could really be easy for a Sunday afternoon. Now, because I mentioned where those areas are, the ones for outside, if they want to come, they could definitely do it. So if you're close and you want to come, pop in. I've messaged on both 4 and 5, and if you're interested in coming to that area, please come on over. Let's do something. Get organized. I did want to mention, Marv, on the phone, because I did notice some in the chat on Discord, they weren't really sure if they were in the right region. If you're on your phone on Discord and you look at the top of the region that you clicked on, you'll see a little bit of a few of the counties that is in your region. And you click that, it won't open up. You have to get on Discord on your computer to click that, and it will all open up, all your counties and the link that takes you to the map so you can see exactly where you're at and what's around you. So I suggest looking at that on the computer.
I just got a great suggestion via the chat, and that was by Soko Gypsy. Says, we need a secret hand gesture when shit hits the fan we can identify each other with. So you could do like an M or something. You're about to shoot them, and they go, oh. And they're like, Marfoogle? What the heck? I didn't know you were a Foogle fam. Jeez. I was about to shoot your head off.
That just made me think, have you ever thought about getting a sign language interpreter for your channel?
No. We had a hard enough time, getting the closed captions to work for whatever reason, but... no, I know we had a bunch of complaints from, there were some deaf folks listening. Dex, where's the sound effect there? Oh. Anyways,
okay.
we had them listening and or watching, and they couldn't, the closed captioning wasn't working, so it was not fun for them. So what would we do? Put them in the corner or something? I don't know. If somebody wanted to volunteer to do it, I would put a picture of somebody doing it, but I don't know how they would be seen on a phone. It would even be even smaller. Is there anything else that you wanted to say other than the zone things, or did you have another point to make?
That is it. I will yield back my time.
All right. Well, thank you. Daisy Duke, first-time caller out of Texas, Region 4 and 5. Again, if you don't know what the regions are, go into the Discord. You'll see we've got all the states broken up, and people are meeting in person. All right. Now, let's get on to the next one. Thank you so much, Daisy Duke. You have a blessed night, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Up next, we have Deidre. Deidre is going to talk about the 52 planes, Wages World, and the CME that is going on. Growing mystery is unidentified drones spotted in Colorado. All right, Deidre, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What is going on?
Hey, Marf and Google fam. I just wanted to call in tonight. I haven't called in for some time, and I just wanted to touch base on a couple things. I hope you don't mind.
No, not at all. Come on down.
Well, the first thing is, I guess Dex told me that you guys are aware of Wages World, but I've been wanting to let you know that like a couple days ago, he was monitoring the CMEs, and he said that there's actually going to be a direct hit on the 11th. I guess there's one coming our way, or it's interesting, the system he's using. I don't know how legitimate it is, but
no, I think he is really good at doing that, and we said we would get him. I always call him Blue Kool-Aid because that's his channel's now Wages World, but we know him as Blue Kool-Aid. And yeah, no, we told everybody, I hope he contacts us because he is more than welcome to come on the show and explain what is going on over there. Essentially, something is going to hit a solar storm, a strong one is going to hit on the 11th. I wonder if there's any kind of symbolic, thing behind the 11th. Of course, there's always some sort of thing that kind of connects. Who knows? We might see some action happen.
I mean, he was just warning us that it could have an adverse effect. But I don't have my CME device yet. I really do want to get that soon. And then just the other thing on the 52 planes that or fighter jets that were going out. I have a feeling that has something to do with what Trump said earlier about hitting 52 very important sites in Iran if they continue to proceed with escalating on American assets. So that might be the symbolism behind it. I'm not sure.
No, ma'am. It said in an article that it was completely a coincidence. So, I mean, that means it's a coincidence. I'm totally...
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you meant by that.
I'm totally kidding. No, it isn't. I totally think that that's his threat, saying that these 52 jets have 52 names, wrote on their bellies. That's what I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I think you're completely right. Those jets going to different places. I wonder how far these jets can actually go. I know that they burn fuel extremely quick. What is the range on something? Yeah. Well, no. I mean, they're parked out somewhere, right? Where did these take off from, Dex? These took off from here, right?
Yeah, they were here. I think it was
your
Utah.
Area there, Mark?
Yeah. So pretty wild. So, is there anything else that you wanted to point out before you go?
I guess there's a copyright issue. I have a channel, but apparently my name is too common, so I have to change a little bit before I let you guys know that channel. But I do a lot of news watching and such, and there was one about one particular newscast that was talking about the drones in northeastern Colorado, saying the mysterious drones are increasing. But I wanted to show you that that newscast, where to find it on my channel. But apparently there's a copyright situation there.
Well, yeah, and we're currently basically can't get any more of those for a little bit. Let's see here. So what we'll do is we'll end up looking at it and try to get in here. Again, NBC News is even covering it. All of these mainstream outlets, independent news, and then journalists that I do trust have said that these obviously are not registered with the FAA, but they are. I mean, the FAA knows about them. And these drones are professional drones. So whatever is going on, what do you think that they're doing? Do you think they're surveying for caches of weapons? Do you think that they are looking for bunkers? Do you think that they are preparing for the White House to move to Denver?
Well, I've heard a lot about Denver. It seems to be a big hot spot. I called in originally about the cosmic disclosure stuff. I'm not going to go too much into that again, but with the Corey Good and David Wilcock type stuff, I've been watching a lot of other things as well, like Beyond Belief and Undisclosed and some other people talking about it. But Denver seems to be a hot spot for a lot of military. And like you said, they may have that bunker and stuff there. I don't know why the drones would be maybe just monitoring things. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I think that the equipment on it, I would love to know if somebody could get the frickin' picture, even at dusk, a zoomed in picture on one of these drones. We keep getting pictures at night. We actually had a caller that called in, and you could see the fleet of them. Did you see that show the other night?
Yeah, I did, and it seemed like it was at night, right? They were all flashing,
but we couldn't get a good enough look. If I could see what was on them, we could, if anybody had a picture of them during the dusk or even, at all, or nighttime cameras, somebody should be out there with night vision goggles and see if they can see what kind of gear is on the bottom of that. That would help us a lot. We could match it to actual gear and see, is this gear that it can actually look through the ground? If it's heat sensitive, if it's just cameras, that would help a lot. Well, thank you for calling in, Deidre. And next time we can talk about some more disclosure stuff, okay?
Yeah, and just to let you know, thanks for mentioning Blue Book Project. I got all signed up for that. It's great. I love it.
Well, that was actually, the caller was to thank, though. I actually am going to be watching it, too. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I've watched episode 1 already, so I'm going to keep going with it.
That is so
cool.
Thanks,
Marf, and everyone. I hope be safe out there, everybody.
All right, Deidre, you have a wonderful night, and God bless you, all right?
You too. Take care.
All right, bye-bye. The Project Blue Book is that new series out that I forget who called in and with that. I want to see it too. Vlad Gruitz, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What is going on?
Adam, how's that D Live working for you? It looks great. So.
Yeah, it doesn't, as far as the quality of it, I have no complaints.
Right. Hey, a couple things, real quick, and I'll make it brief. Puerto Rico sits right on the edge of the Puerto Rican Trench, otherwise known as the Milwaukee Deep. Where the earthquakes are going on, you get a landslide there, we're going to have a tsunami on the East Coast. And I've been warning about that for about a month, and that's been getting hotter and hotter. And one thing like me and Drop have noticed is earthquakes, normally you get a large one and then they scale down with the shocks later. They seem to be going up now. It's just something we've kind of seen. That airliner, that was probably an accidental shoot down. I didn't see the beginning of your show, but if you've seen that airliner coming down, it was losing pieces as it was falling.
Well,
so
could that be
could
that be an explosive in air though, or could that have been something like that?
It could be. It could be brought down from either the ground or from air. Something like inside the plane.
And why was it going to Ukraine? Is this anything to do with the kind of the Russia card or anything like that, or do we know? That was my question.
Today, you had Putin in. I'm trying to watch my words here. the Sear place, okay? Syria, yeah. And you had Putin there, and all they said that Putin was just there to visit and see how things were going. And, you know, it's just kind of odd that he made an unexpected visit there today. And then you had the attack on our boys, and then you have the Ukrainian plane going down all at the same time. So that's just very, very odd.
Yeah, and, you know, we're going to see more stuff like this, that it's like, this isn't a coincidence. This isn't, you know, this is the same time everything is going on that happens. Like, come on. Yeah, we're all open. We're all of our eyes are open. So I'm glad I have people like you around me that are, you know, common sense.
Right. Yeah. And I want to just break two more quick points. I went live for a little bit today, and I've been watching some other shows, and there's a lot of people out there that the best thing I can say is they need to unplug for a while. People are getting overly panicked, and panic can hurt you. You need to be prepared, not scared. Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, I don't want to name any names, but there's some people out there really over the top panicked about this. And people need to calm down.
Now, are these people, do you think that they're making other people panicked, or they're actually panicked themselves?
I think they're actually panicked themselves.
Huh. Are these bigger people that are doing that?
No, smaller.
Okay. I saw a couple today, and I'm like, this is like, you got to really like tone it down. That's why I said that thing in the beginning. I said, you know, we're not trying to panic people, but unfortunately, this is all real stuff. The thing is the contingency plan thing. You have to actually envision all this. You know what military does? They envision this all day, every day. If it's Monday, they're practicing for a nuke. If it's Tuesday, they're practicing for a tsunami. If it's, you know, Wednesday, they're practicing for a bomb. You know, that's how we should all be, but you don't have to do it every day. They literally, that is their job. Their job is to be prepared. Their job is to practice for these scenarios, for war, you know, conflict, for war, for everything else.
Right.
Our jobs, we're doing regular stuff.
People overly panicked in the real world can actually do themselves more harm than good. So
I can agree with that.
Everybody needs to take a deep breath. And I'll leave you on one more note. Ammo is not going to be cheaper or easier to get than it is right now.
Yep. Did you say that before in the chat? Is that something that you've been saying?
Yeah, I said that before. Yeah.
Yeah, I always, you know, during my shoutouts, I absorb a lot of stuff during that. So yeah, no. Hey, Vlad, you are an awesome guy. I am not exactly not doing my challenge, by the way. We won't bring it up because everybody gets mad. I might just surprise people at one point, and you guys will see. It will be very classy and very tasteful. Okay.
Okay. Good.
The Vlad challenge.
All right. Well, hey, I'm really glad to see you're still on, and I don't know if you've seen it. I gave you a pretty good shout out video showing people how to sign up. And so, because people were saying they thought it cost money and it was real hard to do, so I made a video showing people how.
Okay, so so did you see the comments on the community post? There was so many people, and just hear me out. Did you see the comments of all the negative people saying, "I'm not paying to see you. You lost me as a subscriber. You lost me as a subscriber because we came over here." A lot of people thought that this was a paid site, but here's what else happened. On a certain platform, and I won't say which one, I said that I was coming here. Right when I did that, we counted 17 comments. I posted this on Twitter, and they were all like, "bad move," or Marf, this is a very bad move. Bad move this is. They were like straight up Yoda or broken English people, and they were saying, this is very bad move. D-Live will be bad move for you. And 17 different names, like way more than any troll would make. Literally, we counted exactly 17, all had the same thing. And then we went over and we saw about 13 with this other one. It was almost like a call center was saying, D-Live is bad, D-Live sucks, D-Live this. It was almost like somebody was trying to wipe out competition, if you guys know what I mean.
Like a paid op or
like
something.
A big company kind of, making me think. And it was, and this is the doubtful thing. But then when I saw the 17 comments all from different people, I'm like, whoa, this is either trolls or this is paid trolls. And it's not even more directly at me. And they all said something about how long they've watched, and it was all the way back. And if you look at my about on that channel, it's a year and a half since I started it, right? In a year and a half, we got to 100,000 on that. I'm proud of that. But in the about section, they all said, I have watched you for 1 year half. And, this is very bad move. You lost me a subscriber. And they said this a bunch of times, making me think, oh my gosh, I'm losing all these subscribers. I'm not going over there. I'm not even going to touch it. Right? That's what they wanted me to think. And when I looked at it, I go, holy crap, this is something that's fake. That they're like literally trying to make me, get too nervous to come over here. I thought that was absolutely nuts. No wonder there's a monopoly on this. So,
yeah.
Anyways, well, thank you, Vlad, for calling in, and be safe, be prepared, and Marf out, okay?
All right, brother. Thank you.
You have a beautiful night. God bless you, okay?
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, now we've got Matt on the phone. Matt is live.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
God bless you, okay? Wait, hold on 1 second. I'm playing two things at once here. Okay. Matt, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What is going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Things are getting crazy.
Now, you wanted to talk about the Harry S. Truman. Can you explain what you were talking about with that?
Yeah, actually, I was it threw me for a loop because I used to be in the Navy, and it threw me for a loop because I keep hearing you say that they had plans for scrapping it.
Retiring
I guess, I hadn't. Yeah, retiring it, scrapping it. I kind of see that as the same thing. Because when you retire a ship, because they did that with the Enterprise while I was in 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. They had started working on it probably 2012, 2013-ish. It is really expensive, so I can see kind of why they don't want to do it. But it threw me for a loop because they're not even. I don't even think that ship is in their refueling window yet, or if they are, it's coming up pretty soon, and that may be why they were trying to do it. But it's weird because they budget and they plan to have these nuclear carriers for it at a minimum of 50 years. Because the Enterprise, we had it for 60 years, I think it was, before they even retired it. They didn't even want to do that for the Enterprise. So I just thought it was weird when I kept hearing that they were trying to retire that one specifically.
What I don't, do you think that it possibly could have been because they were looking at how much it cost, because this one in particular was breaking down a lot, and maybe T-Man was saying this is costing us a lot of money just to keep this thing rolling. Do you think that was it, or what?
Well, I don't know. I know of because when I was in the power plants on mine, and I know that ship had something that it had to operate at some sort of different. I don't remember. I just remember hearing stories that ship was a little different than the other ones, but all of them are slightly different because the plants operate they have personalities, I guess is a good way to put it. Each plant has their zones that they're better at, their zones that they're worse at, kind of deal as far as generating power. So I think that may have been like a consideration, but like when you look at it, because even the one I was on, it was expensive to run too. Of course, we hadn't hit our refueling window yet either, and that the refueling I think is pretty significant because you're using, like, you have to refuel both plants, and I don't know what it was, but I know it's like super expensive because you're in the yards for like years or something. But that was just one of the things I thought.
What do you? Let me ask you this: what do you think could be up their, sleeve? Do you kind of agree that there's something fishy here that they have it parked? Or do you at least agree with that last caller saying, is it weird that they just randomly, these things are always moving around and they just happen to have it parked where it could be destroyed? Is it bait? Is that something that you would agree with or disagree with?
Well, I haven't like looked specifically on where they are at, because I wasn't on that ship, so I pay more attention to the one I was on, just because I still know people there. But one of the things I do know is that, like, during one of my deployments, we had to stop somewhere and fix some stuff too. So it's like, it's not completely unheard of. But it just depends on the scale of the issue. Do you know where the Truman is where it's in port right now?
Dex, do we have a location on the Harry S. Truman? I believe we did cover where it was heading and where it was stationed.
Yes, give me a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually going to have that answer for you in just a second. We see, other channels may have Google. We have a Dex. That's funny. It's like the phone books.
Like, because I was looking before. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking before I even got online with you, and I couldn't find anything. And honestly, I personally think that's a good thing because we don't want anybody to just be able to Google, like, oh, all the carriers are here. Like,
well, there's apps now. That's a thing. And here's other thing, too. They can turn off their transponders and go, silent, right? They're kind of like planes in a way.
Yeah, well,
there's apps that track them, right?
Well, I can't speak to the apps. I know that on my deployments, there was some sort of protocol that we had to do. Like, every now and again, the ship guy, the OOD would come over the intercom. He would be like, set some sort of radio frequency condition, something or other, and it has to do with like tracking and stuff. Because when I was during one of my deployments, we were getting followed by Russian spy ships. And, like, our CO, he was like, hey, we're getting followed, so, we're going to be saying this stuff or whatever. And it was just interesting to me because before I got in the ship, I had no idea. I just knew I was going to be working on a power plant.
And did that ever make you nervous?
Screener.
Did you ever get nervous when you were getting followed by Russian ships? Did they ever do any kind of risky stuff behind you? I know that makes the news all the time.
Not that I know of. I mean, I didn't really go topside very often. I know that I heard some stories from topsiders where they were saying, like, oh, yeah, one of the Russian ships got in front of our trajectory or whatever, and then our CO was just like, hey, whatever, we'll call their bluff, keep going. Like, and then they eventually got out of our way. And I was
like they were crows or something. Like, like you're driving and there's some, geese or something in front of your car. You're like, yeah, whatever, just keep going. And they scatter.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so we do have a map. Here's the fleet tracker. Truman is right off of, this is kind of by Saudi Arabia. This is in there. This is in the... So the Abraham Lincoln is over here, and then this one is over here, which I believe, I can't really see the map, but where would you say that is, Dex? That's by the Middle East, right?
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Well, this is going to be delayed,
is,
certainly, and that is like coming around the tip, heading in towards that Gulf region, right? Going into, by now it's probably maybe going through the Strait, or it already did.
It looks like that's in the Arabian Sea, and I don't know. it might not be parked there. They may be actually operating, and because I think more than likely they're probably not going to try and go through the Straits of Hormuz. If I had to guess, I don't know because that stuff is like way above my head. No idea. And I don't think there's any way to know right now.
That's nuts. You there?
But yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just think is there anything special about going through the Strait of Hormuz? Is it only veteran ships that go through there, or is that something you know?
I mean, right now things are way different than I was in, so I can't really speak to what it's going to be like right now. Whenever I was in, it was pretty normal. Like you would, just like any other Straits transit, you would set special watch stations and then go through the strait, and then our gunners mates would be watching for those little gunboats that like to kind of patrol around and be little annoying gnats and stuff. But other than that, it's pretty normal.
Well, they're now looking at another message here. One of the Fugel family members says that they have moved a total of 250 feet in the last 4 days. So that is from somebody I do trust. I don't know if that's true though, so I will confirm that. If that's the case, when it's a strike group, doesn't that mean that? That's kind of what I would think of parked. Would that be weird to you if they were parked in one place?
Well, not really, because if they're not in port, they could be like that dot. They could be moving and that dot would stay there because and this all depends on the operational tempo of like the group and the ship, right? Especially if like right now things are so different and they're on high alert. Like I wouldn't want to stay in the same spot, but like it's possible. I remember when I was in, like we would stay in the same area for a while. Like it wouldn't be uncommon because like you have to get at a certain speed to be able to launch planes, and for that to happen, like the ship will just kind of basically go in circles for days at a time sometimes. Wow. So like I don't think it's really out of the question. Now it could be that they are in port. I don't know. I personally have no idea if they would be or wouldn't be. But
do they have how do they keep fueled? Is it just so much fuel is stored on board, or do they have one of the boats that's in that group? Is that just for fuel? Is there just a tanker boat too?
Okay. Well, so for carriers are nuclear powered, so their propulsion.
Oh,
is nuclear.
that was dumb. That was dumb.
Now, however, that it's not dumb because
they have other things that take
plane, right?
fuel, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you do have to have fuel for the planes. I know we refueled pretty regular, or not refueled, but we restocked pretty regularly, and I think that included fuel, and it included fuel, food, like. I just saw a message, somebody saying buffering is happening pretty bad.
Look at what we're talking about. That's
when
that triggers it. Something is triggering it. We're talking about the Truman. I think there's something serious about that. Look at that. What if they see, hey, these guys are literally just talking about the Truman. Slow them down. Shut them up. That's just weird.
Yeah. Well, like it's so like, yeah, we had to like restock pretty often. And it's freaking me out. I'm seeing your mouth moving because you're muted and it's like, you're not saying anything. Yeah, like we had to restock. Like, I think as long as there's a way for the supply ships to pull into port, then like you could stay to sea indefinitely. Like I was on one of my deployments, we had like 65 straight days at sea or whatever. So
That's nuts. Well, hey, Matt, thank you for calling in. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your sacrifice for your country. Again, anyone who has served for this country is welcome in our Discord. We have an exclusive group, especially from all different branches. Hopefully, one of these days, we'll get a Space Force guy in there. But who knows? But yeah, have you joined our group or no?
I have. I kind of lurk. I don't really talk much, but I kind of just keep an eye on what's going on in there. I did
No
before
problem.
I do hang up. I wanted to ask and see if you remember it, but the 482-day countdown you talked about like a little over a year ago, back in like October of 2018.
I think it has.
That's the first video I saw.
I think it has something to do with whatever the planetary catastrophe we avoided was. I don't know. We haven't heard anything other than back then we had all of the meetings, and then, we had 3 different dates that it would have been over 3 months. But I think someone is I think somebody was knocked off and something was averted. And I think part of what plays into that was the submarine that caught fire with Russia. But I also think that I think right around there is when the journalist got dismembered or whatever. But there were some other things where some very, very high up people mysteriously had accidents. So I honestly think something happened in a positive way that was a good thing that was averted. And part of this thing is that these memos go out and then they end up getting fixed before the deadline. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Did you, when you're in military too, they see things and they go, well, we have this many days to handle this problem. And a lot of the times it gets solved. I know a lot of people around that daytime, there was about a month leeway with that too. And it's already passed by 7 or 8 months. Do you remember, since you watched that for the first video, do you remember me talking about like Theresa May, about how they were switching from this to Iran, about how they would you say, as a military member, and you've watched me for a long time, would you say that I've been somewhere in the ballpark of kind of predicting some of this?
I mean, I don't really remember the video that well. I have a pretty bad memory when it comes to this, like long of removed, and I haven't even watched it since.
No, I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah, well, in general, like I agree with most of what you say in general. And that kind of goes with like a lot of people I watch. I agree with either some or most or a little bit, and then I disagree with some of the rest of it. And that's kind of just how I approach it. If I agree with it, then I'll think about it. If I disagree with it, then I'll think about it. And then if I find out that I'm wrong, then I'll change my opinion. But that's kind of...
Well, you've stuck around.
I like to think about.
You've stuck around this long, so that must be a good thing.
Yeah, well, I generally find that most of what you say is intriguing enough to pique my interest to look into it further, or it's pretty on the money for me, at least. Of course, at this point, I think all of us can see that, there's going to be something happening with Iran, regardless. We don't know what it will be yet. I don't know personally if it's, the big worldwide ordeal, or if it's just going to be one of those one and done kind of things. I would doubt it, but I think that we're in an interesting time. And I just saw this guy said long call, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I appreciate it, brother. Take care. Bye.
All right. You have a good night. Well, that's okay. You don't have to get off because of that. But either way, yes, it was a long call, and it was our last call. But also, I always like picking military members' brains. You guys probably know, if you follow me enough, you would know that I tried joining 2 different branches 3 different times. And because of a mistake when I was 18, tattoo-wise, it screwed me the first time, and then 2 more mistakes after that, tattoo-wise, screwed me the second time I went back once they laxed rules. my bands, they're so faded, and these were from when I was 18. They screwed me the first time in the Marines, and then Navy got screwed, and then my neck tattoo screwed me when I was 20. I went back and tried to reapply because they laxed the arm one. As long as it was not visible with a long sleeve, you could get in with it. Now I don't know. I think now they don't care if you look like what do you call them? Post Malone. You could have tattoos on your eye saying, super gay angster or something. I don't know. Then you've got let's see here. Hey, Dex.
Yes, Adam.
Hold on. Got some sort of gamer in the background. Okay, Dex, is there any breaking news that you have found so far?
No, I don't think I have anything else. I've just a couple of minor updates of what's happened. I believe, let me pull this up 1 second here. South Korea came out and said they're closely monitoring the situation. I guess they just they want to see what's going on. Their statement came out and said they're paying attention. And another nation came out and made a statement. I think it was New Zealand, and they said they were calling for restraint. That's about it. Nothing serious on the event front. Everything's updated on the website. If everybody's looking for any of the content, it's
mark my words. Something is going to happen between now and I would say 2 p.m. tomorrow. There's going to be something that happens. Some tit for tat.
It's morning there now. So everybody's waking up, hearing the news.
So
locals.
Over the night is going to be their daytime. And when it hits dusk or dawn there, watch for something to happen. We might have a shock and awe moment, which, won't affect us. Not here, at least. And again, it does say a Ukrainian Airlines Boeing 737 with 180 passengers aboard crashed shortly after takeoff. So it was 180 people. Remember, they said 290 people or so. So what is that, 180 plus 110? So they still have another little thing to do. They said that it was symbolic of the 290 people, whatever. Who knows? I don't know if that's part of it, but I just thought that was kind of weird. They just said that last night. And then we said that 52 locations would be hit. And then coincidentally, we do a freaking training with 52 planes. Come on. Are people really they literally read the words like, it's purely coincidental? That's just straight up BS. Anyways, thank you guys for all watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're watching on DLive, thank you guys for following me over here. If you're watching on YouTube, I really appreciate your guys' support, financial support, love, likes. Please remember to like the video. Right now, we are having one of the roughest times we've ever had. So thank you so much. Now it is officially time for, it's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. It's where I officially make a fool out of myself and say every single name in the chat. Or at least I'll try. With that being said, there's a lot going on in the earth, and I appreciate you all tuning in. Some would say that it's the end. Some would say it's not even close to the end of the show. Have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared. You fill in the rest. Marf out. Marf out. Marf out. Silver Star, Channel Jammer and Zoe Moon, Real to Real and Shastina, Angry Bear and the 65. Thanks for the Rock, and thanks for the Ann Brown and the Wingnut. By the way, we're going to be busting out this chest in about 35 seconds. Icy Hellraiser, Uncle Nacky, Rosie Girl and the Icy Hellraiser. I and the Liar and Lynx, Erilyn and that Lunar Soul, Lolo, Angel, Tracer, and Earthworm, Jim and Reed and the Gospel. Bring it right back with the so-called Gypsy. High Retriever, Mom, Slaughterhouse, gonna bring it right back like a mouse. Hey Barefoot Last American Sister, Drone Bear and the rest of the resistors. Hey Walking Sky, thanks for hanging out with this lonely white guy. Hey Courtney Joe, thanks for having a place to go. Hey, ran out of things to say. Busting open the chest. By the way, the top contributors over here on D Live: King Cuts, Leah, MPJD 1968, Danish Girl with 230, Lou Rock with 211, Be Right B.O., Drone Bear, and The Real Truth Original. Thank you, Heavenbound 13. I appreciate you. Karma is here and my angels gonna get that twin one. Lupe fiasco, now you said Jojo, I like me for me, Ali. I was gonna bring it back down, now you know. The luckiest one on your ears, got me maybe, and you see. Gonna bring you right back away, rapid accelerate, gonna go. Jonathan and Spars, Atlanta, Gene, and Diggs, 11, over one bracket. Got now one bracket. Alma Gozuma, oh yeah. Apache Pompeo, Remember, you can go to marfooglenews.com for all of the articles we read here tonight. I just wanna go all the way home, and you never know. I've got the aiming for truth and they know the crazy coyote and the clean nest day.
to say. Got that Jim Jones shit in that. So-called gypsy bringing it where I'm gonna hurt that fox lady. Gonna bring the Capricorn cake. 69. Gotta get now. Nikki and Hickavoy. We destroy like we've never seen in Hickavoy. What's up, boy? We gonna go. I'm gonna see it up. Sorry, little listen, we will see you one more time. See you one more time. Gonna bring that El Michelle 70 and now April Osborne. J and G Marion. Gonna say this song. Drum Bear. Real to real. To a sport player in the Kelly Joe. You know that we've got sunshine beat to know. I just want to be here for the party. Alisa Curry. Ambrose Vanessa gonna bring it back Monday, Candy like keep a 777. Jim Melissa and Angel 1975. Run for your life and you won't be seeing me beside you. You know that we are so right. One dude and the lovely starts sending that lazy snake and Cindy Coffee got to bring that late diver D-Lock. Got to bring the Ewoks down and the Star Wars behind me will fall. Those trails in the sky, they are killing you slowly. We bring that da-da-da-da-da-ba-da-ba-do. Savage Juice Box, bring it right back. Susan Big, bring it right back. Yeah, it was the big couch, the big crouch, and everybody in between that saw that it was coming. Trinity, red pill, or blue pill, or anything that I can't say. American Sister is so twisted that we never resisted. Hey, J. Christie 24, thanks for coming by. Hey, Cyanide and Clyde and Snide, I appreciate you. Hey, Casper Sparks, thank you for coming out tonight. Ilea, thank you for being Ilea, and thank you for being yourself. Billy, Phil, and Hill, Philly, Billy, Hill, Billy, whatever you're calling yourself now. Dex J, thanks you for watching you out. My Nine Angels and I Hellraiser. I don't know how to say anything right now because I'm stuttering around like Jaybird 42. Got to go. Thank you for all coming tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you.
So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew we are going to be on YouTube very shortly. If you want to join us, I will be in the chat with you. If you have any questions about tonight's show, I will be over there to answer them, at least for the first half of the show. Thank you, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want a song on the next shout out, you can go over to YouTube and do any kind of super chat. Thank you. Have a good night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to marfooglenews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle fam is waiting for you.